Hello and welcome back to Goblin Literature. My name is Megan, and this is a channel where we discuss long fantasy series. This is the second episode of the Zodiac Academy. We will be discussing Book 1, The Awakening, chapters 11 through 15. In case you're new here, which this is the second video, so seems like you might be, we do kind of like a book club type format. If you like to read long fantasy series like me, it's difficult to do that in a book club format because a lot of times people in the book club for a lot of books will get way ahead, way behind, so it's hard to have a real-time discussion with all your friends. I really want to read the Zodiac Academy. That's why I'm reading it, and none of my friends are reading it. So I wanted to develop a community where we can all discuss this series and maybe more series in the future. So we already discussed chapters 1 through 10. It's like a real-time discussion, so we can discuss in the comments. We can have a great time. So that being said, let's get into it. Chapters 11 through 15. I have my notes. I have my Kindle. Felt like I needed more props, so now I have them. So chapters 11 through 15, more is happening. My review on 1 through 10 was like, not that much is going on. Now, things are going on. Exciting things. First of all, in chapter 11, we kick it right off with the nymphs. I was a little suspicious of the nymphs. I thought something was maybe going on with them. Now they're murdering people. Boom. Happening things. Things are exciting. What I think about the nymphs is that I feel like there's more to know about them. I'm concerned that there's some misleading going on. Maybe we think the nymphs are the bad guys and they're not. I don't know. It's weird. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about the nymphs. I still, like I mentioned before, have some concerns about keeping everyone straight. I'm trying to get them straight in my head. It's a little bit tricky. So, because we got twins and we got heirs, and there's not a ton of differences in what's going on with them. We're getting more into the differences. We've got like certain things that are kind of backstories getting filled in. It's making it a little easier to keep straight, but I'm still struggling. Hence the notepad and the props and the Kindle. So, kicking it off. Like I said, chapter 11, the nymphs, something's going on with them. They killed someone. The tarot reading that they did in chapter 11 was intriguing. I am getting a little concerned that we're taking like kind of witchy things and like cheapening them. I don't know how many of you guys are into like astrology and tarot, but I'm like not an expert, but like a dabbler. I have dabbled in these things. I feel like if you're reading these kinds of books, a lot of people maybe also are dabbling in those types of things. And I feel like we're cheapening the Zodiac with like the horoscopes that are kind of weird, and also the tarot readings that are kind of like a cheapened version of real tarot. I made so they pulled the High Priestess card and just saying like, that means someone's keeping secrets from you. First of all, like, ominous. Obviously someone's keeping secrets from you, like, duh. Second of all, like, tarot is a very unique art. That's why I'm not an expert. I am a dabbler. There is a lot of deep meanings in these cards. The High Priestess, for example, I wrote it down because I was like, weird. There's like mysteriousness going on. There's fear. There's darkness and beauty. Like there's always like a kind of like a duality to the cards. It's not just like, oh, you get this card, someone's keeping secrets from you. In a tarot reading, there's like a lot of things going on. You have to take the context of the cards. You have to take what other cards you pull. You don't just pull one card and it means someone's keeping secrets from you. I feel like that's like a cheapening of tarot. I don't really love that. I feel like if you're going to work something that's so nuanced and complex into a book that's so nuanced and complex and long series, like we can't just be like putting like cheap tarot references in there. But maybe there will be some developments with the tarot. Maybe this is just kicking it off. We'll see. I have some concerns. Also, something we learned in chapter 11, Tori's afraid of water. We don't know why. Maybe we'll find out why. I would assume we will. I don't really have any good theories. It's just like a vague reference that she's afraid of water. So, chapter 12. Oh, also in chapter 11, they like kidnapped them and like threw them in the forest. That wasn't great. So, they're not wolves, which is fine, but like what are they? I'm curious. I feel like they're not wolves, they're not vampires, like that we can tell they're not vampires. Doesn't seem like they're like feeding on people and they have magic. So like, I don't know. I feel like I don't really have any good theories. Let me know in the comments if you have good theories, because I have no idea what the girls are. After these 5 chapters, I have no clue. I would love a hint. It's like they don't really say much about like their powers getting replenished, when they're getting replenished, how they're getting replenished. They just kind of seem to have power and not really have any clue how that's happening. And like, as they've explained, like the powers getting replenished, that's like an indication of what, you know, werewolves apparently get replenished by the moon. Makes sense. Vampires, blood, K, like dragons, they're a horde. The girls don't like have any of these going on. There's obviously like the sirens. There's like other like less common magical beings, which I'm really into, of like the sirens. Like we don't get a lot of them. But they're not like pulling people's emotions out of them. So like, what's the deal? Like what are they doing? How are they getting their powers replenished? I would love to know. Or maybe a hint, but I don't have any good theories about it. So I don't know. The other big question, and I don't just want these to be like a summary, like that's kind of lame. It's supposed to be like not just going chapter by chapter and telling you what happened. You can just read the book. So I want to make sure I'm not doing that, because so far I kind of am. But what's going on is what we're talking about. So Falling Star. That's where I'm going. Falling Star. We've got a couple places in these chapters where we're messaging Falling Star. Falling Star's got things going on. Who is this person? I have no idea. I don't feel like we have any good hints. The only thought I have is like maybe it's Orion, but they got messages from Falling Star in Orion's class. That's, I think, when they started getting the messages. So I don't think it's Orion, because he couldn't have been sending those messages. We see like Orion and Darius like meet up, which is suspicious. And then he's like being suspicious in the bar. Like that's weird too. Like what's going on with him? I feel like it's obviously more than it seems. Like, of course the heirs want to get rid of the Vega twins, right? And like they see them in the forest. I don't remember which one of them sees them in the forest. I'm sure I have it written down. Tori, I think, sees them in the forest meeting, and she's like hiding behind a tree, and they're like talking about getting rid of them and like scaring them. Yeah, of course, like totally makes sense, because they're trying to take away their power, which, you know, people don't want that for some reason. People don't like when people steal all their power. Not cool. But yeah, like Darius meeting up with Orion, having like a secret conference, and I reread it a couple of times, so I'm like, are they trying to like mislead us? Because they never explicitly say Orion and Darius, and then Orion later in the bar, never explicitly say the Vega twins. They are saying they want to get rid of them. They're getting more powerful. I read it repeatedly because I'm like, could they be talking about someone else? I feel like they're intentionally making it seem like the Vega twins, and it's not. But I don't know who else they could be referring to, because they explicitly say them and refer to them as girls and talk about them coming into their powers and learning more about their powers. And I don't know who else they could be talking about. The only thing that I think is maybe interesting, so there's two theories I have. One, maybe they're not talking about the Vega twins. Maybe they're talking about the nymphs that stole the powers from the Vega family. Like the whatever king, the bad king guy. I can't remember what they call him. He sucks, obviously. Totally a jerk. So when the nymphs kill people, the Fae, they like suck their powers up and then they have that power. And the Falling Star sends them an email or whatever that says like the nymphs have the power of the royal family, right? Like they sucked their power up. They killed them. They obviously don't have the power of the Vega twins because they were like not really killed. So are they talking about those nymphs? Because those two, or however, it sounded like two nymphs, or however many that killed the queen and the king, sucked up all their powers. Maybe they're talking about the nymphs that have those powers. Maybe those nymphs just came of age. It's just weird. Like they got killed like 20 years ago or whatever, like 15, 20, a while ago. So if those nymphs sucked up all that power, then how are they just like coming into it now? Like it seems like it has to be the Vega twins, but they have very explicitly not used their names. They've said she or they, or like it's females from what I reread, and it's like two or multiple of them, and they're coming into their power. We got to get rid of them. Like, I don't know how it could possibly not be them. But again, they don't say their names, so it seems like it's not them. So if it is them, my other theory is that Orion is like a secret double agent, because I feel like they're trying so hard to make him look like a bad guy, super hot bad guy, which we're here for it. So they're trying really hard to make him look like a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's super hot teacher, which is great, but I don't think he's a bad guy. So maybe he is secret double agent. That's why that was kind of going in with like, is he Falling Star? But I don't think he is, because again, they got the messages from Falling Star during his class. They haven't really, I feel like, given us enough to figure out for sure who Falling Star is, which is nice, because sometimes in these types of books, they give you so many hints. It's like, okay, this isn't even like a surprise. Like, I'm not even like, duh, this is what happens. So that is my theory about that. Either it's the nymphs, or Orion's a secret double agent. One or the other. Or maybe some other option. Yeah, let me know if you have another theory, because I feel like my theories aren't that good because I don't have a lot of information to go off of. They're not giving me a ton of information. They also keep like referring to like Darius's family as like super, super duper bad. Other than the fact that they were the first people to like show up after the king got murdered, so they think he has something to do with it. Like, is that it? Did they do something else super duper bad? Because that would make it more obvious that he's a bad dude, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they did something horrible. But Darius is like medium. He's like very like I feel like of the heirs, he's not like the super worst one. But they're all kind of like medium. I don't know. It's hard to say because we just get the girl's perspective. And what I was also thinking and wondering is like, so at the beginning of the chapters, let's see if you can like see my Kindle. More props, right? We're here for the props. Wow, there's a lot of pages in these chapters. So on my Kindle, right, you can see it. We've got like their name, we've got like their sign, and then we've got the elements. What's interesting to me is that this whole book so far, it's got all four elements. If we're only ever going to get Darcy and Tori's perspective, why would that be relevant? Because we know they have all four elements, and they both have all four elements. So like that's not helpful to us. So I'm wondering if eventually we get more perspectives. because so far obviously we're just getting Darcy and Tori, which I think is important for this particular part of the book or part of the series, because like this whole world is new to them, and obviously everyone knows more than them about everything that's going on. So if we got someone else's perspective, I think we would get like more information that maybe we're not meant to know yet. So I feel like obviously there's like a lot of stuff we don't know, because we're only getting their perspective, and they don't know nothing about this entire world and the whole backstory. Like, they know nothing. So I think part of the reason that so far we've only gotten their perspective is because we're also supposed to not know anything. We're supposed to be like, oh, this is a brand new world. We're like learning all this stuff for the first time, just like them. So maybe once more stuff happens and we get more information on what's going on, then we'll get more perspectives, which would be cool, because otherwise I don't know why they're spending all this time making all this shenanigans happen at the top, because they both are Geminis, because they're twins, which is also cheap astrology. Twins, Gemini, like, okay, I'm willing to forgive that. And then, like I said, the elements, like, why do we need to know the elements if we always get those two when they have all the elements? That's like suspicious. Another thing I'm curious about is these teachers are kind of like jerks. Like Orion, and then the other, like, the only teachers we get like a lot of information on is just Orion. So now I'm having a hard time keeping the teachers straight also. So we've got Orion, Hawkeye, and then we've got a bunch of other hooligans, and the one creeper who like is the siren that was like a gross creep. Tori's professor lady, that's her liaison, is Prestos, which I literally had to write down because I couldn't remember who it was, because it's like not memorable at all. She sounds hot too. Maybe everyone's hot except the creepy molester guy. He's like, it's hard to be a hot molester. You could be like a hot jerk. You could be like really mean and hot and bad and hot. But as soon as you're like a molester, like, yeah, now you're like gross. We can't have that. The molesting is a problem. Blech. So Prestos and Orion, neither of them want to like help these girls. They like literally are over it. They're like, I have my own shit going on. I don't want to help you, which is funny, because I feel like teachers in real life more often than not do want to help people. That's why they became teachers. Like in school, in college, it's like, oh, I have office hours, come, I'll help you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Apparently in Fae world, they don't give a shit about anyone. They're like, I have my own life, come to class, and then like get out and don't talk to me. Which like some college professors are a little like that, but it's just like kind of hilarious because they literally are both like, please leave me alone. Also, like, usually at work, if they give you like a bonus assignment, a lot of times people will like be like, oh great, like first of all, like, act your wage, but also like, if I got like a little added bonus assignment because I was really good at my job, I would probably, especially like helping a student, like, you would think they'd be like maybe interested in doing that. Another thing that is cringy to me, I feel like I'm talking a lot about some cringy or like items that are giving me the ick. Cheapening the ick. Those are two things that I have going on. The cheapening of astrology and tarot, and then also the ick of Faybook, Ass Club, and also the freaking hashtags, man. I'm like over the hashtags. When they post on Facebook, because Orion is like feeding on Tori, which is illegal, I had to write down which Caleb is Tori and Orion is Darcy, because again, hard to keep those things. We've got two vampires feeding on two twins. Like, that's like very much hard to keep straight, which is which. So, if you're a note taker while you're reading, I feel like that will come in handy during these books so far. I have a feeling eventually I will figure it out, but so far, in order to keep it straight, I've had to write it down. So when Orion, who's supposed to be, well, it all happens together. So Caleb claims Tori as his source. Again, like territorial, very aggressive, but not molestery. So we'll allow it. Caleb claims Tori as his source, and then Orion is feeding on Tori. I feel like that was a very calculated move. He did that for a reason. He was trying to, I don't know. I don't think he was just trying to piss off Caleb, because like he could have done that dozens of ways. I think he was like expressively making a point to do something. I don't know if it's like to protect the girls or to be able to claim one as his own, or like what he was doing. But he very explicitly fed on her in front of a classroom full of people, then immediately posted it to Facebook. That seems like he was very calculating to me. I don't know why yet, but that gave him a reason to say like, okay, if I can't have Darcy, I'm gonna claim Tori. That I'm protecting one of the, I mean, protecting, like he's using her as a feeding tube, a juice box, they say at some point. Like, it's weird. But maybe he was doing it so nobody else could claim her. Maybe he doesn't want anyone, because they have like so much power in their blood. They reference that a bunch of times. Like, very weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's like intentional. He wants that power. He wants to make sure nobody else gets that power. He wants to make sure nobody else is biting the girls. I don't know. We'll see. But like when he does that, then Caleb shows up and loses his mind, because they say like hashtag Air's gonna care, which is what got me on this adventure we're on right now. The hashtags are giving me the ick. But I'm hoping that improves as we go on. But yeah, now we have like the two vampires that claimed each heir. Like, okay. Or not. No, the vampires that claimed the twins, not the heirs. One of them is an heir. It's like, I'll see how I'm confused. We've got a lot of things. So then towards the end of chapter 15, so we've got a couple things that happen. So they go out drinking, which is a lot. Sophia gets hammered, and she says she can hold her alcohol really well, but then she like doesn't. Did someone poison her? Like those shots were going over to everyone, including the twins. So like, did someone put something in those shots? I don't know. But it seems like a little date rapey. Like something got into those shots. That's why she's so hammered. I think I said this is going to be chapters 1 through 15. It's going to be 1 through 16 because I read chapter 16 and a lot of stuff happens and we got to talk about it immediately. I don't want to wait until the next video. Chapter 16 is lit. So, and this is like real time. Like I read this, I'm going to talk about it. So, that was weird. Then they saw Orion in the bathroom with that, well, he was with the hot lady. They were like chatting about the girls or not the girl, somebody, they don't say ever that it's specifically Darcy and Tori. We don't know, which is part of my theory. Then he like corners, one of them in the bathroom and is like, what did you hear? And she's like, I know you're gonna kill us. And then he's like, okay, bye. If that was like true and important, there would have been more of a reaction. Like, and then they're like messaging Falling Star. They're like, yo, let's meet. And Falling Star's like, yo, let's meet. And they're trying to meet up. And they're in an alley, which is a bad, but like, sometimes we do dumb stuff, okay? Like, who hasn't done something and been like, this is gonna get me murdered? Hopefully, people aren't getting murdered in real life, but these girls maybe were trying to get murdered. We don't know. I mean, they weren't trying to get murdered, but like, they were doing some potential getting murdered activities. Going out to the alleyway, not a good idea, in the dark, at a bar. And then there's like, Falling Star doesn't show up and is like, the shadows are upon us. What does that mean, bro? What shadows? Who's the shadows? Like, what are you talking about? I want to know who the shadow or the shadows, like, what does that even mean? Like, what are we even doing? And then there's a rattling sound, which seems important. They get chased away. And then Geraldine gets attacked. Also, like, a lot going on with, like, getting drunk and, like, making out kind of with the heirs, which, you know, kind of figured that would happen eventually. When we got to the first Friday night, which is another thing that's interesting. We're 62% of the way through the book, and we're just at the first Friday night of being at the academy, which seems like not like that was a lot of pages for just like a week at the academy. But here we are. I'm not against it. I was just surprised when they said that. I was like, I felt like we were like skipping kind of like day to day. Like we weren't just the first, I didn't know we were like really living through each day in real time. I thought it was like, okay, we went to some classes these days and then the next week we're doing, no, it was like, this is the days. Like, okay, cool. And then, yeah, so at the end, Geraldine gets attacked. Not good. Orion, covered in blood, acting like a creep, immediately attacks whichever one is his source, because I swear to God, Tori. Caleb? No, Orion is Darcy. I'm gonna need to, like, I don't know. So Orion immediately, like, drains the crap out of Darcy because he's, like, very spent from, like, keeping Geraldine from dying somehow. He's covered in blood. He's acting really weird. Darius disappears. We don't know where he went. Where did he go? Why is he always acting so strange and suspicious? Why is he working with Orion? Like, what's going on? And then they go back with the heirs to their, like, dorm, and that's that. Like, is Geraldine okay? We need to find out. So I will be obviously reading a lot very quickly because I need a lot of these answers. I still think that one of the girls is going to end up with Caleb. I mean, at this point, it's like we've got Caleb and Tori and Orion and Darcy. And it's like if they just end up with the dudes that claimed them and they're both vampires, I feel like that's kind of a little bit lame because we've got all kinds of other magical creatures and we've done vampires. Like, could they end up with someone like cooler? But both of these dudes do sound super hot, so I'm not like, what are you gonna do if they're hot and they're vampires? Like, what do you want from me? That's like where I'm at. Those are my theories. I'm just making sure I didn't forget something. Oh, Caleb says to Tori, what if I did want something other than your blood? I did an awkward wink on chapters 1 through 10 also. So that's interesting. I feel like Caleb is obviously going to at least hook up with Tori at some point. Darcy was like grinding all about a lot of the heirs though. So I'm interested to see if maybe something goes down with one of the heirs for her. I feel like maybe eventually she'll end up with Orion. But again, if it's just like, okay, the first dude that claimed them, like their blood is the dude they end up with, like, I don't know if I'm going to be excited about that. I mean, I like both of these characters. I just want it to be more secrets. We're weaving secrets together with who everyone ends up with. That would be more exciting. But we will see. I feel like we're getting a lot of Caleb. We're getting a little bit of like Seth and a lot of Darius. We're not really getting a lot of Max. So I need like more information on these guys and more backstory to keep them straight. Orion, like I said, easy to keep straight. He's the only hot teacher. So where we're at, we need to know who Falling Star is because I have no clue. Would love to get a little more info on who the girls end up with, but like that's part of the ride. I feel like what's going on with the nymphs. Are they really bad? Could they be misunderstood? I don't know. Who is this rattling person that's trying to kill people and like getting Geraldine? It's kind of a little bit of giving Basilisk. Like we hear a weird noise. Someone is petrified. Suspicious. Those are like my main outstanding questions right now. leave your comments about what your questions are or your theories. Or if you think I missed a major plot point that you have a hot take on, would love to hear about it. If you want to get notified of new videos, like, subscribe. That would be great. But at this point, I just need to go find out if Geraldine is okay, and hopefully get more information on what the hell Darius. I'm gonna have to find out. Maybe I'll listen to some like audiobook of this. That's the only weird name. A lot of fantasy books have like a ton of really ridiculous names, but this one doesn't. And I just need to know Darius or Darius. I didn't even know I didn't know until right now. It's not even a weird name. It's just like, which is it? I probably need to find out. So yeah, I will be getting you another video soon of the chapters following 16. So this is 11 through 16. And then let me know your thoughts and theories and major questions that you have. And hopefully we will be back doing more Goblin literature very soon.